Welcome back to Pop Dissected.
Today, we're going to be talking about how Madonna conquered the 1980s and the music industry. Officially debuting in 1983 with her self-titled album, Madonna's success took off in immeasurable ways. Referred to as the Queen of Pop, Madonna has had a career of iconic hits, envelope-pushing controversy, millions of record sales, and has laid the groundwork for so many staples we see in music today. Recently, we discussed the King of Pop, Michael Jackson, which you can check out in the description or the info card. So let's shift our lens to another notable artist when it comes to not only the 1980s, but music as a whole. I would like to say I know how many other incredible artists have pioneered music, especially during the 1980s, and rest assured they will get their recognition soon. Madonna has had a career that has spanned many decades and has many albums to help her achieve her status. But everyone had to begin somewhere. But before we continue, it would be greatly appreciated if you gave this video a thumbs up and considered subscribing so you can get more future content on all your favorite pop stars. So let's begin by looking at each of her albums during the 1980s and see what each one of them offered and how they contributed to Madonna's career. Madonna's self-titled debut was released in 1983, and though it initially debuted at 190 on the Billboard 200, the album steadily rose until it reached its final peak of 8, managing to sell almost 3 million copies within a year. While many cite Like a Virgin as Madonna's first album to incite impact on the industry, her self-titled is largely credited to making disco and dance pop a mainstream genre for audiences. One critic explained how the individual elements of the music off Madonna's debut, such as drums, synths, and so on, are not technically impressive on their own, but when combined together, they truly make magic. The core of what made her debut so impactful is centered around the music itself. It really doesn't get more simple than people thought she put out a well-crafted album, front to back. With every effort following this throughout the decade, Madonna's ability to put out tracks perfect for the dance floor never wavered. With 50 #1 singles on the dance chart, I think this speaks for itself. With the warm reception to her music, the videos put out for this album also served her growing popularity. Most notable is her video for Borderline, which has been discussed as breaking up the taboo of interracial relationships. The video also combined scenes that were in full color and shot in black and white, which was something so unheard of, it needed to be screened for label secretaries for approval. Borderline additionally introduced themes Madonna would expand upon with Like a Virgin, such as female empowerment, as well as having ownership in one's own sexuality. From the get-go, Madonna challenged ideals she felt needed to be addressed. While Madonna may have not been the first female artist in existence to give her peace of mind, she absolutely served as a prominent figure in addressing controversial topics. Like a Virgin was released in 1984. Though not sonically different in any major ways from her debut, every track was able to stand out on its own, making this a record full of hits. Madonna strived to make sure no song on Like a Virgin could be considered a filler track, and her efforts paid off. The era is mostly noted for one prominent thing, which is Madonna's daring to be sensual. Though commonplace today, back then Madonna was breaking any narrative that women could not be in charge of their body, their sexual wants, or ideas. This era is also known for Madonna's shocking performance at the 1984 VMAs, in which she rolled around on stage in a wedding dress, wearing a belt that read "Boy Toy" on it. The performance really defined the VMAs. It set the tone for this ceremony, being known as the award show that would always host a shocking moment, with decades of stars doing their best to be daring on stage. Not only this, but Madonna singing a song about enjoying sexual intercourse while wearing a lacy wedding dress was actually considered a career-ending moment. Madonna's rolling around on the stage was actually due to her stiletto falling off, but that aside, she was incidentally challenging the idea of conventional roles for women. There was interesting juxtaposition on stage during this performance. With Like a Virgin, Madonna was the first woman to sell 5 million copies of an album in the United States. It was not commonplace for a woman in music to be so in charge of her career, direct with what she wanted, and provocative with her image. Madonna was no flash in a pan, and this album proved it. Her commentary on social issues would expand when she released True Blue, which solidified Madonna even more as an icon. This would be the first album of Madonna's in which we'd start to see a distinct change in her music and image. Though with her immense success, many still questioned if Madonna was here to stay. So in turn, True Blue would incorporate more classical music, Madonna singing lower with her voice and experimenting with sound effects across various songs. This album helped market Madonna to older audiences, expanding her reach in the industry. One of the most prominent things about this era is the music videos that Madonna put out. Though critics had their reservations about the video for Open Your Heart, it portrayed women as the dominant sex, while painting men who objectify women as pathetic or weak. Not only did the video for Papa Don't Preach showcase a new, ever-changing image for Madonna, but she made a solid statement about a woman claiming control over her body, despite some seeing the track as a campaign for teenage pregnancy. Those people, however, may have missed the entire point of the song. Her video for Live to Tell acted as a promotion for the film Shanghai Surprise, which Madonna starred in. Once more changing her image to appear softer, Madonna was noted for her effective cross-promotion within her art. La Isla Bonita showcased the beauty of Latino culture, while True Blue presented a more traditional role for Madonna. With her debut, Madonna captured what it meant to make great dance music that was irresistible. Like a Virgin explored female sensuality and sexual empowerment, while True Blue showcased Madonna's ability to be transformative with her image and sound. So now we close out the decade with Like a Prayer. But before we continue, I'd love for you to join my community of channel members, where you can receive special perks, exclusive badges, emojis, early access to videos, and my Pop Dissected podcast, in which I post 2 podcasts every week that range in a variety of topics. I hope to see you join. Everything we've seen that stood out from every album Madonna released in the 1980s would all be merged into one for Like a Prayer. This album is where Madonna was officially considered a true artist by a lot of people. Though she had proved herself very early in the decade, there would be no question about her ability moving forward. She intertwined gospel, funk, and soul into her dance pop sounds, creating songs that have literally been described as perfect by many critics. Madonna would also become a lot more personal in this album, in ways that were not seen on her previous efforts, focusing on the relationships within her family across the record. The album itself is also dedicated to her late mother, where Catholicism served as the main source of inspiration for this body of work. Like a Prayer relayed to audiences that Madonna didn't just make dance club hits or was a teen artist. She was mature, serious, and could be introspective. What really stands out from this era is her controversial video for the title track, which has been extensively studied in trying to decipher different interpretations of it. Though the content of the video is still up for debate and there are many conflicting opinions about it, it served as an important work of art and pop culture. Madonna would embark on 2 tours during the 1980s, in which audiences would be able to witness her captivating performances. Over this decade, Madonna put out 4 albums that certified her as the Queen of Pop, and each album revealed a new aspect to Madonna's artistry. Her debut exemplified her ability to make well-crafted pop songs. Like a Virgin pushed forward narratives of female empowerment and sensuality. True Blue showcased Madonna's willingness to shift her image. Like a Prayer had Madonna expanding her audience and proving how she could go deeper with the stories sung across her music. With 7 #1 singles and 3 #1 albums across the 80s, Madonna changed the cultural landscape of music and changed music for women. Her career would start to hit a rough patch upon her release of Erotica. If you're interested in learning about Madonna's journey throughout the 1990s, you may like this video on Madonna's Ray of Light, which served as a pivotal turning point in her career. So what do you think about Madonna? What are some other important things she did during the 80s that weren't brought up? Is she truly the Queen of Pop, or is she just a controversial name? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'd like to shout out my Hotshot debut and Pop Icon Status channel members: Feli Oske, Carl Dillinson, Matthew Quigley, Gerard Lang, Daniel Barron, Jalen Heater, Tyler Salvetti, Nicole Sherman, Crystalline Gregory, Sky Hawker, and Steven. Thank you all so much for your support. Once more, it would be greatly appreciated if you gave this video a thumbs up and considered subscribing so you can get more future content on all your favorite pop stars.